people who are not well versed in the Pure Land school will have doubts, and there are a couple of common doubts. One is, does the Pure Land really exist? And is it possible that for Dharmakara to create this out of his thoughts? Because when he was practicing still as a bodhisattva, according to the scripture, he cast vows, and so he created this land from his vows, from himself, from his merits. So there are people who doubt this. Is it possible to have this Pure Land, and is it possible for anybody to go there? So that's one doubt. The second doubt is it possible for a being to be reborn in the Western Pure Land by simply invoking the name of Amitabha? So that's the second doubt. The first doubt is whether does the Pure Land exist. If we look at on the principle of karma, then with its corollary that the sphere of one's rebirth is determined by one's deeds. And so that's easy to understand. And Dr. Edward Kahns, he also answered this in his book. He said that whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, it is determined by their deeds, the karma. The worldly things that we see and sense, they are a kind of reflex of people's deeds. They are reaction, their creation is in a sense from our deeds, from our karma. And the environment that we are together is because of our collective karma, that we come together, that we have the same spirit, we have the same motivation. Just like the United States, Mr. Chen last night in his lecture, he mentioned that whether we have Los Angeles or New York, they come together because of their collective karma that created the environment that they're in. Right? The attitudes that we have here are different from the attitudes that people have in New York and people in other countries. So because of our same motivations that we create this environment. And therefore, Dr. Khan's answer to this first doubt is that because of karma that creates the environment, so because of the great virtues of those in Sukhavati, that they have created the environment of Sukhavati. And when the saying is birds of a feather flock together, right? People who have common interests will come together to create that environment. The existence of the so-called supernormal powers, right? He created this from his essentially supernormal powers, the creative power of thought. And is that even possible? Another aspect to look at this is that one who has gained the fourth jhana, 四禅, they have the ability to replicate their physical body. They can multiply their bodies. In other words, they can materialize natural objects of every kind. They can convert mass into energy and energy into mass. So when they create another body of their own, they are converting energy into mass, essentially. And then there's an example of the Tibetan monk, very well known, TOMO Geshe Rinpoche. He was born in 1866 and he died in 1936, so in the late 30s. And that was a great event that was created by his presence. When he was traveling in Tibet with his followers, he caused to appear in the skies a wonderful phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria is like a picture from the skies, and when you look in the clouds, and it was a very clear picture of Maitreya Buddha, Mila Pusa Yilak Botan, and with all his attendant bodhisattvas in the skies. And this was visible for miles around and lasted for several hours. And not only that, there were flowers resembling lotuses falling down onto earth, and they were real enough to be picked up and to be handled. And of course, they melted into the air after about an hour or so. So this was witnessed by hundreds of people and has been depicted in the White Conch Shell Monastery in Chumbi Valley, southern Tibet. So in this monastery, they embalmed his body, the Rinpoche's body, and decorated with golds and different adornments. And those who were eyewitnesses to this miraculous event were still alive, I guess at the time of the writing of this book. So we should not take this united testimony lightly. right? We should not just reject it. But these were supernatural events that occurred, although in short period of time, but they were very real because they could be sensed, they could be picked up, and they could be seen. If it's possible to produce a phantasmagoria that lasted a few hours and could be seen by hundreds of people, then it should be possible to produce something like this that can last for centuries. If something that can last for an hour or two, then there is a possibility that it can last for much longer period of time. And so with the thought power of Amitabha, a perfect being with infinite merits and virtues, certainly he has the ability to create a Buddha field that can last for millions and millions of eons. So it is a realm of possibility. In the Amida Sutra, it says that there are tribes of birds that sing in the groves of Sukhavati that have been made on the purpose of Amitabha, to preach the Dharma. So within this realm of possibility, that is it possible for a Buddha to create a land from his thoughts? Certainly is, from his abilities, from his merits and virtues. That should, in a way, satisfy the curiosity of the first doubt.